Hi there, welcome. Uh, this is Gina, Soul Inspired Reflections, and recording this little video for all of you who feel called to view it with me. Tonight's topic, as you know, I've been talking about going inward as well as connecting to your pillar of light. So that is going to be our primary focus this evening is connecting to your pillar of light and why. Why is that important? But first, for those of you that are becoming more familiar with me, my name is Gina Libido. You may hear me reference soul inspired reflections. And I also basically I got my background in bodywork and healing arts a number of years ago and began other studies, wisdom studies with the Seven Sacred Flames Wisdom School, as well as the shamanic studies with the Power Path, and incorporated various practices as I realized I had stepped on and into the awakening of my soul and light path and soul awakening, heart opening, whatever you want to call it out there. I reference it as path of self mastery, yeah, path of light, path of ascension. That's how I most commonly refer to it in my own experience. However, at the end of the day, it's an inner evolution that all of us are going through, whether you are conscious of that evolution or not. For those of you that are becoming aware that this is occurring, or those of you that are like, oh, wow, I just learned about this, and now some things that I'm experiencing are starting to make sense, right? Like my feelings of sensitivity, like hypersensory sensitivity, my feelings of emotions going up and down. And I normally am not like that. Feeling of anxiety, feelings of PTSD, things of that nature, right? Or things that happened to you years ago and you're like, why is that on my mind, right? Why is that running through my mind and bringing up emotions and all these different things? So there's a good possibility in which I believe is for most people happening right now. You are feeling the impacts of ascension and you're growing. Your body is going through an inner evolution and you get to experience that. So the perspective I come from is that everything is energy because I'm also an energy intuitive and ascension guide or coach, as you'd call it. I coach people through their journey, through their inner journey, and I bring it back to the body. I bring it back to the physical body because we are all meant to stay in our physical body. And what happens, many people want to run away from their emotions, run away from the experiences that they're having in their life because it's hard, right? Because it's hard. We all do it. We all fill our time with something, right? I used to work overtime because I didn't want to come home to things. I didn't want to address certain stuff, right? Until I did. Because and if I keep myself busy, then I fill the time and I'm not left with myself to address anything. So part of this ascension um, is learning. For those of you, you're recognizing, wow, I can connect. I can communicate with angels. I can communicate with ascended masters. I can telepathically communicate with the person next to me. I can astral travel, all these things that come with awakening, or depending if some of you go into more the spiritual or metaphysical path with yours. And this isn't to separate any of you. Some you'll just be called toward different ways of studying and evolving your own growth. Okay. Some of you might get more creative and go into painting and use painting as a vehicle to express your soul, right? Because everybody is ascending and your soul is coming out, your heart is opening up, and the expression of your soul and creativity and higher self will come out, will be presented differently depending on the person. So, my focus today for you guys, and always for myself as well, because I'm going through this process all the time as well. I just might be a little further along than some of you, and then not as far along as others. But now I'm feeling much more called to share my experiences and bring in teachings that may support you. And when I sit with myself, and the common theme I see the most of that comes to mind is like, wow, people need to learn how to ground and need to learn how to protect their energy and manage their energy. So how do you begin to do that, right? So when you're in this path of awakening, it does require a commitment on your part, a commitment to yourself, a commitment to your soul growth. And I don't mean from an overwhelming perspective, right? You may hear me say you need or should or have to do this. Be mindful. I'm very mindful in language. However, our language is also very limiting. I don't really care to use the word have to or shoulds and stuff because it's just laying stuff on us. But be mindful when I do perhaps misspeak in your eyes or even in my own. Don't let that get lost in the message of what we're saying, of what's coming here. And as anything, take what you need and just let the rest leave the rest. At some point, some of what I'm saying is going to resonate with you, maybe through a different speaker, or maybe it'll be delivered to you a different way through a different language that resonates mostly with you. And that's okay. So, what happens, you begin to learn to distinguish. Oh, that is what Gina was talking about. Oh, that's what this person was talking about. Okay, now I see it. And for my own self, every time I deepen my practice and open myself up to new energies coming into the body, my understanding of the same topic deepens with it. So I encourage you to just practice being in the present moment of now, being fully present and return to that beginner's mindset that you're learning and you're growing and you will go through the growing pains and discomfort of ascension. And as I get further into the topic, um, I think it's just important to recognize what is ascension. What is ascension? And I refer to it as it's our returning with our to our divinity within ourselves, to the light of your soul, to the light of your I am presence, your 12 dimensional energies coming into physical form. It's that divine union of your masculine and feminine that resides within you as energetic qualities. And so you may hear me refer to things like um, flames or rays, or even when I use masculine or feminine or angelic realm, the dream realm, all those states live within you. Every realm lives within yourself. So ascension used to be understood that you'd have to leave the body to once you held so much energy in it, then the physical body would not be able to hold physical form, right? So our souls, if we can all agree that we have a soul that is within the body, and our body uses the soul, excuse me, uses the vehicle of the body to navigate and experience living on earth in physical form, right? And you may hear some people refer to the soul as in, through, and around you. And I would refer more to that as spirit, but there is no necessarily right or wrong way to understand it. As long as you have something that you can grab onto a little bit, but loosely, not too tight. And I say that because you're always evolving. You're always evolving. And so what you know today will evolve tomorrow or next year or whatever timeline that means for you. Um, because the process of ascension and awakening is, while there's some common experiences people go through, your experiences are unique to you and how you learn to decode and decipher the energies of your bodies. And I say bodies as plural: mental, physical, emotional, spiritual. Those are our four primary bodies of our aura. Okay. And then we have what I've been talking about is our pillar of light, also referred to as the 12D shield. So we're going to focus our attention there. And I'm going to show you two different images on how it's been depicted. Okay. Because I feel that's important to have a sense of what we're talking about. And particularly those that are recognizing we're we are integrating our I am presence into our physical body, our higher self, our Christ consciousness, those qualities, those aspects of you, that energy, okay, is being fully integrated into physical form and into embodiment. And with that means your lower energetic discordant qualities need to be harmonized and sometimes physically released from the body. So sometimes you may cry, or you have anger. It comes out through the emotions sometimes, or you may have actual physical releases in the body. You know, sometimes people will get fevers and purify in different ways. You may have the spontaneous, like, cleanse of your eating. Okay, so sorry about that. Had to pause the recording. Uh, so those of you, I have a dog clearly in the background. I'll try to cut some of that out, and if possible. And yeah, where was I? Kind of lost track there. Anyhow, our main focus today is the pillar of light, but I'm going to show you two depictions of the our divine chart, our divine blueprint. So one image will be the full depiction of the divine blueprint. The other will be mostly depicted on the pillar of light. But these are important images to acquaint yourself with, because it's you. This is you. Every single person. It has nothing to do with what religious background you come from. This is how every single person is designed. We're multisensory. You are energy. You have energetic fields. We're Science is now catching up to all these things, whether you have a shamanic practice, a nature connected practice, indigenous type of groups, right? You're connecting to the stars, the earth, spirit, right? Others may have a different name if you're through your religious practices, perhaps God, Jesus, I am presence, Christ consciousness, right? So I'm inviting you to just be open to new terms or familiar terms, and allow that um, to be expanded. Allow it to expand in your awareness, and it'll just support how you go through your life, no matter what you do for spiritual practices, for your religious faith. I'm not here to take that away from you. I'm not here to have judgment on it. You do what's right for you and what supports you in your connection to your heart and connection to source, God, whatever name you have for it, energy, your higher self, right? But why I'm here is because, since all of us have the same design, sacred design of our body, we all have the same ability and opportunities to master our energetic fields, have a new relationship to your energetic fields and the world around you, and recognize you are part of the whole of life as you move off the wheel of karma to the spiral of ascension, and from separateness to unity to oneness, consciousness. So as you raise in consciousness and your ability to hold higher states of consciousness and be that, because when I say hold, you also are living in that way and can hold that higher state all the time while recognizing lower conscious states that some of us hold. all the time, right? So that's when you hear people talk about 3D, 4D, 5D, and above dimensional states. They're energetic states, and the ability to hold that higher frequency and vibration within the body and level of awareness and consciousness um, begin to take shape. Okay. And remembering all those dimensions live within you, 3D, 4D, 5D, they don't go away. But as you evolve, you're no longer feeding those lower frequencies, but you're very much can recognize them and discern them. So let me take a moment to share my screen here. Here we go. Share my screen. See if it'll let me do it. So I have to quit and reopen. So we'll see what happens here. Okay. So I'm back. Thank you for that. Hopefully I can edit some of this out. Hi, Gus. Hi, buddy. So bringing up the recording, or excuse me, the image. Go to the desktop. Let's move. I don't know if it's going to work or record, but we'll see what happens. So this image here is called the divine chart of your divine self. Let's see if I can expand it. Okay, so you'll see many things in this image. This represents you, your physical body, your physical form. Okay, so we'll just kind of break this down a little bit. This violet flame here in the center around your body is the violet flame of transmutation and freedom. And it's a tool of alchemy that you'll also hear me suggest that you become acquainted with and use for clearing your energetic field and purposes. You can do many things with it, and also your internal body. You can assist it clearing water, the elements. You can send it purposefully and energetically to places of discord that perhaps need support with peace and transmuting the energies that are out of discord. And to be mindful that while you can use the violet flame for many things, you cannot do any of these things for like selfish purposes, right? So say someone disagrees with you, and then you start praying for them so they can see it your way. That's not you honoring. But would be a potential misuse of the flame in your prayer, right? And so it's an opportunity for you to perhaps adjust the way in which you might pray, right? Because you're wanting them to change for you versus them, find peace in themselves. Maybe someone just has a lot of anger or something, and you're like, I just pray for them. They find peace in themselves. You're right. So you can feel the difference, I hope. Right. So we'll break this down a little bit. So this upper figure in here that hopefully you can see okay. I'll go a little bigger. There's an upper figure depicted. Now, this is someone who depicted the chart, okay? It's been a chart that's around a long time, and you could find it in a little book called The Higher Self by Elizabeth Clare Prophet, if you want a little reference. Other people use the same image. So this is depicting your I am presence, your I am that I am, or the individualized God's presence that for every man, woman, and child. Okay, we're all connected to this. And you will see that the I am presence that's here is surrounded by concentric rings. These are also rays. Each of these hold different qualities and attributes and their energy that run within you. And these are the primary 7 rays associated to your primary 7 chakras. So what I want you to also know, the rays are infinite. There's more than just the 7 primary rays, because it's part of our energetic system, okay? And that is infinite too. Our chakra system is infinite. So the more energy and qualities you embody and can hold, your other chakras and energy centers begin to open up for you and activate. So then you can access more wisdom, because you begin to unlock the keys and codes to your being of light, your DNA, your cell memory, things of that nature. Your soul wakes up more. And these rings would make up what is referred to as the causal body. And some may refer to it the treasures laid up in heaven, right? This is where we bring in heaven, or as above concept, and it comes down through our body, right? It gets bridged, and then we bring it into the earth. So it's as above, so below. So whatever is above in the heavens, the cosmos, is also exist in the earthly plane and in your physical body. Everything exists in each plane, as above and so below. So you have a direct connection to all of these things. It's a matter of becoming more aware of that, and then also working with it and experiencing it. It's one thing to read it about it, which is beautiful to read and understand concepts and things in people's own experiences, but it's another as you choose to experience and step on your path of ascension. The middle figure is the chart of this chart here, is what in this particular depiction is referred to as the mediator, between you and God, between you and your presence. So this is you here down low, and then presence is up high, and then you have the mediator between the two, right? And that is referred to as what many people are calling your Christ self. Your Christ self, Christ consciousness. It comes down. So all of us will have to hold and get to this level of attainment. And it's also coming in us anyway. Many of us are having these heart awakenings and like changing jobs and careers, reestablishing what our values are. I mean, like, hey, this is where I want my life to be here now. because it's starting to align more with who I am, my purpose. Those are all soul type languages. What's my purpose? That's your soul starting to come out. Those are questions of the soul. Okay, Gussie. And then, okay, so you'll notice this is depicted as a line, right? Some of you that come across this may remember the last some post I did on Instagram about going direct. And I also wrote like a poem, I would say more of a channeled poem about that. And because you are now able to choose to go direct to source, direct to through this funnel, and the pillar of light assists you in keeping your field clear and protected so you can go direct to seek your higher self guidance, your higher aspect, your I am presence for guidance. And then that is when you begin to learn to distinguish other things. So you may refer to this middle figure as the Holy Christ self or higher self. Okay, so let's not get lost in language. Just recognize there's different terminology for that represents the same thing. And again, this process is organic to you. Okay. But yet the process is still there. Everyone will go through this process. And then the lower figure here, which is your man, your physical body, and you're surrounded by the tube of light, the white tube of light, also referred to as the pillar of light or your 12-dimensional shield. So you'll notice in this there's a disc below your feet. And that creates the shield, the 12th dimensional shield. But you also notice the pillar continues to go past that point. So one way to activate this shield, because you have to build it, is through mantra and decree. But I'd like to show you the other depiction of it, just so you know there's different depictions of the pillar of light. Okay, also referred to as the 12D shield. And this depiction you can find by Lisa Renee on her website, energysynthesis.com. And her website is more for an advanced student of self-mastery or energy mastery, energetic mastery. However, if you feel called to go in there, you'll go explore. There are more introductory pieces to Ascension and other things, wealth of information, highly technical in the way she speaks. So I encourage you, if you do explore her website, is just to take it in bite-sized chunks and start simple. If you feel you are a beginner, this really is a must. This is why I'm doing this. Building your 12D shield is a must for every human being, because the more sensory, multisensory, and hypersensory we become, that leaves us open and susceptible to lower and discordant energies that are external from us. And I say external from us because we're also reconciling our own discordant energies within our own body, or bodies, I shall say, mental, spiritual, physical, emotional. Okay. So imagine going through a crowd and now you're feeling everyone else's bodies, and that gets stuck, or an altercation, and it will stick to your plane. It will stick to your fields. And so for those of you that are empathic or work with the public a lot, building your pillar of light is a really powerful tool to use, and you practice it and build it daily. And then it just becomes easy. Because it'll support you in discerning energy and keeping your own field clear. So you may be less tired, less fatigued, You'll find your mental state being more focused, calmer in your physical body, right? Okay. So that means your hormones can stay more in balanced and in harmony as well. Because if you're stressed constantly, like on overdrive, excuse me, like I used to be in law enforcement and I would reach these points where I didn't come down from the stress. So it causes physical harm to the body, right? Because we have an excess of the cortisol and all the other hormones, excuse me, that get thrown off from that. So it happens, and this can happen to any of us. There can be burnout. Like when situations happen, the reaction and response to those situations don't necessarily match up. Right. And they're more exaggerated. And it's because the body hasn't had time to calm back down and go and come back into a homeostasis, or synergy, I like to call it. So in any event, she refers to this as 12D Christos Unity Shield, the base Maharata shield down here. And you'll notice it's in the shape of the Star of David, or six-pointed star. And again, it's up here above in your what's referred to as your stellar gateway chakra. And this one, and they're both, this one's, the stellar gateway is about 3.5 feet above your head. The Earth Star chakra, which is where this lower shield is being depicted, is about 3.5 feet below your feet. And you take that pillar of light energy all the way through your body and down into the earth, heart of the earth, and then bring that energy back up, build that shield underneath your feet. And that's going to come all the way back up through your channel of light, your chakra system, and connect to the heart of the cosmos and back down, creating your shield. They look like depicted here as like discs, basically, above your head. And then the pillar of light extends about 3.5 feet or so. If you put your arms without, basically it's the length of your body, but the width of your body. And imagine that pillar or tube of light extending out it's beyond your height and past your feet, all the way up to direct connection to earth and the heart of the earth, as well as the heart of source, cosmos, presence. And it's a foundational technique. It's a protective shield. Okay, so the purpose of this class, I'll say, or just this lecture, whatever you want to call it, me coming on here tonight, is to be take a little bit deeper dive into just the pillar of light today, because going in to the spheres and the attributes, that's a whole nother course on it. That's a course, really. We could take it one by one, but that's a course. And even working with the pillar of light and the violet flame is a level 1 course of ascension or mastery, self-mastery, that will support the ascension process for you, because they're your tools. They're your energetic tools that you can learn to use daily until they just are in you. And then you use them. They become like muscle memory. You just know how to activate it and use them. So the purpose for this pillar of light class is to support your integration of light of your higher self, I am presence, Christ consciousness, energies, qualities, working with those rays, to be able to clear your energetic field and your aura, and also protect it. So you may remember I talked about going inward, right? So going inward is that when you break it down, it's that ability to go of spirit and mind and of mind and spirit, right? Because we're mastering the mind. We're going into our higher mind, as I like to refer to it, and our higher heart. And to master these qualities, and the ability to go inward assists you in connecting to the depth of you, because part of this is knowing yourself, is to know the self. So the more you know the self and connect with your higher guidance and integrate that in, your inner being and your higher being will begin to operate together, and you'll begin to discern and unearth the truth of things. Because the more you activate your pillar of light and clear your energetic bodies, all of a sudden the truth of situations will become more revealed to you more and more, and you'll begin to see through the veils or cloaks that have been laid over you or imprinted on you. That's just on the micro level, as well as in the macro level with our institutions or the way things people present things, right? You'll begin to see it, the lies that have been told to keep you from your sovereignty. So part of this, or I'll say mistruths, right? Because when everyone's operating in the same dimensional frequency, that's what you know, right? It's not right or wrong, that's what you know. And those that want to have power over other people know how to use those frequencies. And this is about learning how to be in your own power. And you don't have to have power over anyone else, because now you are embodying your power. You're in body, in power, in soul. You're in your own power. You're empowered by your soul and higher self now. And the more you do that, the less anything will have impact or control over you, for lack of a better word. Because you will see through it, and whatever's occurring just bounces right off. It doesn't stick to you. Or you'll be able to release that energy from your field a lot easier, or with guidance from a healer, right? They can assist you, assist yourself. So some tools you can work with activating your pillar light is visualization. So those images I showed you, pick either one you want, is fine. That's going to assist you when we use our mind and put it into action. Our power of our visualization and imagination is very supportive through this experiential process. Like, if those of you have children, or if you remember when you were a child and you played and you created, you made stories up as you went. It's that creativeness that will support you through this process. To be creative, it doesn't have to be perfect. So many people want to be perfect, but it is a commitment to you, and you've got to be disciplined, especially in the beginning. Disciplined and committed to your daily practice. And it doesn't have to be for hours, but if you can commit to yourself 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes in the evening before you go to bed, and activating your pillar of light, releasing your day, and releasing the night when after you wake up. The more you do it consecutive days over and over and over again, I have no doubt you will notice the changes in your state of being. No doubt whatsoever. The benefits of this is it's going to allow you to be more focused. It's going to allow you to start practicing to discern energies, discordant energies that are coming into your field, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical, spiritual as well. Okay. It'll assist you in bringing more calmness to your body. You'll begin to feel lighter emotionally, mentally, and physically. It'll strengthen your unity to source, to God, because you're communicating. It'll strengthen your communication to source energy from your heart to the heart of your higher self, and bring in your ascended aspects. But it'll strengthen your ability to communicate and maintain your field and manage your energetic fields, especially since you'll learn how to discern energies. And that also means the energy is running within you, discerning that when you are in discord and not in harmony. And then how might you bring that back into harmony? that piece can be challenging to bring it back into harmony, because that's where someone such as myself that guide people through the ascension process come in, can be very supportive while you're going through whatever aspect of change and transformation you're going through, because it affects your whole life, whether it's work, family, friends, all sorts of it's really finances, right? Because it relates to different aspects of yourself. Within that wisdom is held within the chakra system and cells of the body. Past life things, past history, ancestral, right? You start to go into stuff like that. Potentially, you don't have to, but you go to, for some people that they recognize, oh, I got a releasing a pattern, a deep pattern in myself, or a family pattern, or right. So some of you need guidance in that, to someone to talk you and guide you through it. I know I've gone through the same thing. So you're not alone in that. Just looking at my notes here. So you may also refer to this as psychic defense. Okay, pillar of light and psychic defense. Because what happens, you can be psychically attacked, and that's not to scare you by any means. Meaning people will impact your psyche based on things they say, what they do, our technology, our ads, our propaganda, right? So you have to be able to discern what is true for you and then what the truth is. So the more you strengthen that connection to source, to the truth and the light of God that resides within you, because you have that divine spark that's within you, you have a direct connection. To discern the truth of something and to begin to trust your intuition and higher guidance will become more easy for you, and you'll begin to trust it more. So the more you trust it, and then you're like, oh, okay, boom. And the less you're going to be impacted by the distortions as you connect more and more to your God self. And so you'll be able to, it steps toward embodying your core spirit or soul, and it's mastering of the self. You're beginning to learn how to become a walking master and master the self, I guess. So how might I explain psychic self-defense? It's coming into like your personal power, right? One, your energetic mastery. Okay. Your energetic mastery. Ultimately, everything is energy, and that's what we're talking about here is energetic mastery. So whether it's your emotions, that's energy. Your physical body, that's energy. Your soul, that's all energy. What I'm using right now, everything here is energy in different states of density and form. Your thoughts are energy. Your actions are energy. What you say and speak, you voice, you sing, is energy. And those all have an impact, and we all have the ability to be in the polarity of those. But for now, I know for myself, I want to move out of polarity. I'm done. I'm tired of having that experience. And I want to move more toward the unity, the oneness, really. But it's this evolution, right? You have to kind of understand that you're in polarity, a world of polarity, of poles on Earth. So to understand what that looks like and the experience of that becomes very important as you are going through your ascension process. And recognizing you're now going into unity and then oneness, right? Off the wheel of karma into the spiral of ascension. You'll step further into your own personal power and multidimensionality of your anatomy, of how you are designed. Every single person here is designed. And I also like to feel that multidimensionality of the soul and the heart. So you begin to go, oh, I can expand my perspectives and see life through multiple lenses. But what is the highest choice in to be made here? Right? For all, when we talk about higher choices, it's the best choice for all parties involved, not just you. Right? And sometimes our emotions and agitations can interfere with us making the higher choice. And you will begin to feel that in your body potentially. I know I do. If I'm operating in a way, I'm like, well, my body has a contraction. So I give space before making the choice. Number 2 is to build your strong 4-body system. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. The primary 4-body system. And they all work together. You can't impact one field without impacting the other. And the physical body is the last place to show up any discordant energy. Okay. And vice versa. The physical body will manifest. Energy has to go somewhere. And if it doesn't get dealt with from the mental and emotional plane, that will end up showing out physically. Okay. You'll strengthen your inner core energetically, your inner core. So your inner state of being, you'll strengthen that. You'll strengthen the integrity of the 4 bodies system, the primary 4 bodies. You'll strengthen those integrity of this. Okay. So meaning they'll become stronger. They'll be less impacted. You'll be beginning to master that more and not get knocked out of your physical body, not get knocked out of your mental or emotions. You'll be able to be more grounded and centered. Again, we'll talked about polarity already, and a lot, basically it reminds me of the universal law of opposites, right? So sometimes, as those of you walking your ascension path and you're in a path of self-mastery, which is not for the faint of heart. So if you want to experience compassion, you may experience the opposite of that. So that way you learn to be compassionate and become compassionate for yourself and others. Right? Or you want to learn more love. You may have the opposite of what love thrown at you, so to speak, or presented to you in your life. And how might you show up with love through that experience for yourself and the experience and the other party involved, but still be in your boundaries will become different, but your language, the way you approach it, will be a different choice than you would normally make. Yeah. And you, at this stage too, it's important to learn and know what you're working with, meaning there are other energies that you may even hear people talk about, right? Like galactic energy, entities, alien or extraterrestrial energies. They can be referred to in different ways. Angelic realm, other spiritual realms, people wanting to access the astral plane, which is, if you don't have the schooling and the teaching and the ability to be accessing certain portals, don't open them, because you have to know how to close them as well. So this is like, again, it's not to put fear into you or anything. It's, you have to be responsible and accountable. And this is self-mastery. Just because you think you could do something, but you haven't been trained on it, doesn't mean you should attempt it without guidance, without learning how to do it properly. And it's also recognizing that there are energies that will come and present themselves to you, even if it's a person, in the form of like, oh yeah, I'm seeking guidance and healing and coming using that sort of language. And it's really causing you more interference from your direct connection to God and to yourself. But it's for you to learn how to discern that, right? Because it's so important for you to go direct and then discern any energy that is not of the light, but it may present as the light. So it is universal law for those of you that are already connecting. And this is what prompted me to talk about this pillar of light and protection, and to go inward. And also remember, what are you a ward of, right? Like to ward off, right? Is because entities and other energies can attach to your body. They could try to take hold of your crown chakra and then control you. Other intelligent energies, or some refer to as other artificial intelligence, will attempt to take hold of you and then control and influence you. And you may not notice it at the beginning. I've gone through that and myself. So I'm not speaking, I'm speaking also from experience as well. It's almost an initiatory thing. But the more you can learn to activate your pillar of light, you have the power to also close your crown chakra when you're like, I don't want to receive higher stuff right now, on top of your protection, and then open it. Remember to open it back up and connect directly to source, activating your pillar of light. I've done that before where I just felt all my chakras just close off because of the way someone was speaking, that it was so out of alignment that my chakras closed on their own. They're like, we're not taking that coding in. We're not taking that information in. And that's more advanced. So that may happen to some of you automatically, but as you get more advanced in your self-mastery, your tools will you're like, whoop, okay, I'm closing the door. Closing the door. As Carolyn Mace said with Teresa Avila, like, I'm closing the gates to the castle, right? Close the gates to the castle. So you have that power. You don't have to take everything in, nor should you, especially if you're going through a purification process and you're learning how to protect your fields and energy. Number 6, as you come through this, because this is all beginner stuff here, and I'm going to take my time with this initial topic because just the smallest topic has so much information. So another reason why you may activate your pillar of light and have developed psychic defense is you have to be disciplined, right? You have to be disciplined, control in your direction of your energy and focus. Where to use your energy and focus go. So, for example, recently I went out for a few days with some friends, and we have very different energy. And I had to make sure I just stayed in my lane. I was very observant. I put my tools in place with my pillar and the violet flame and breathing. Breathing is vital to this process too, and expanding your pillar, strengthening it, and using the violet flame as well. Because I got to relax my system because I was feeling all the anxiety and other control aspects from my friend. Not trying to control me, whatever she's doing, it just made her feel safe and comfortable. But she didn't realize, right? She's not in that awareness. But you can recognize it. Like, I didn't have to argue with anything, right? It'd be like, oh, I put this over here and da-da-da. As long as my boundaries weren't, I was mindful of my boundaries too, and kept, some people are less conscientious, I'll say, because their focus is somewhere else. So where might my focus be in times like that? Okay, how can I show up best to keep peace within myself, but also within shared space in a hotel with 3 people, right? So I used my tools. I gave myself space, like go into the pool, go into the box or the lobby too. Cause I know for me, that's how I maintain my field also, is to give myself time out so I can go inward and have time to myself. Okay, so where do I want to focus my energy? Where do you want to focus your energy matters? Because I could have chose to engage it, and that would have potentially just caused discord, arguments, and I'm like, it didn't need to happen. So it didn't, and it didn't, because I chose like, no, I'm recognizing someone's personality, right? And it was okay. It doesn't identify her as the good person that she is. She's just going through her own stuff, right? And I can see myself in that, where I used to be. So that's also self-mastery. You'll begin to see yourself in others because we are each other. And so number 7, and this is a highly important skill to develop as well, the ability to be neutral. And that's kind of what I described what I went through. The ability to be neutral in this sacred observer of neutrality over all of it, everything without judgment. The awareness and everything begins to become more transparent. So the more neutral you are as this observer of all that is, it becomes transparent, the currents and energy that are running through situations and through yourself. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else that I wanted to mention before we do the Pillar of Light meditation. Okay, yeah, I believe we said that. Okay, the purpose of the shield, it'll help fortify and strengthen your aura and your energetic fields. It's reconnecting you to your 12-dimensional blueprint, your divine blueprint. I am presence, Christ consciousness. So we'll just kind of recap it a little bit. You create and learning new energetic boundaries. And I think of that as staying in your lane a little bit, but they're energetic boundaries of your aura. You'll learn to discern discordant energies. You're restoring your divine direct connection to your I am presence. And while you continue working with this, it assists in awakening your DNA and cells, and you become more empowered because you're getting more energy filtering in. That's of your highest energy available to you. So you begin to be empowered if you're self-powered. Okay, which is interesting. Think of her like electric vehicles, self-powered vehicles, because you're no different than your technology. Anyhow, sidebar there, little non secular. You're self-powered, you're empowered in the things you do, choices and actions. You begin to re-imprint the body to be physically sustainable in health. You will be healthier the more you use these tools regularly. And it's not of a place of just going to ignite it. You're using it with purpose, trust, because you're connecting with the most sacred part of yourself that no one else can do for you. So I really invite you to hold this practice in reverence. And in the beginning, you may not feel that. But as you begin to change and other things unfold for you and the synchronicities in life that start showing up for you, perhaps you'll be like, oh yeah, that's what Gina was talking about. This is sacred, this awakening to myself, to my higher self, integrating into my body. My divinity returning to me because I'm magnetizing it to me. Through this process, you will magnetize those energies to come into you and toward you. You don't have to seek for it. It's already here. It's already here. You're just allowing that process to occur with more ease as you practice and use your tools and learn them, right? So many people don't know about these things. And you're going to be able to decode the light language, because everything around is energy. Working with the flames, it's light language. It's light, it's color. You'll be able to discern that. And you'll also be able to discern light language, like actual light language, where I've heard people speak in different light languages. It's quite pretty. But also that telepathic place within our third eye and connecting to source, because our chakra system plays a vital role in our energetic body. So yes, so regular practice, new levels of energy and within yourself will emerge. Your mental focus and neurological entrainment of your energetic fields, you become more receptive to the influx of light. Okay, so those of you may feel like anxiety, PTSD, or you're like, God, I need to make a change, but how do I do that? Your neurological system, your brain, all this is part of it, and you're going to feel it. So oftentimes when we're having feelings of anxiety, we're in resistance to receiving the energy coming in. It can be a sign that your body's receiving more energy, and you're just like, oh my God, I don't know about it, what's happening. But that also means your body's releasing discordant energy and imprints that no longer needs to be in you on a cellular or DNA level. So how might you perhaps have a different or expanded relationship to the experience and feeling of anxiety in the body? Okay, that it has a divine purpose in it, what's happening. It's an energetic response and neurological response. Now, I'm not saying for those of you that may have extreme anxiety to stop seeing your doctors or anything. What I'm inviting you to do is bring in all your practices together. So for those of you that feel you're on medications, or some people might take other things to assist with bringing down the anxiety, how might working with your pillar of light and your violet flame and nature connection support you in bringing your body back to a place of calm and peace, that eventually you won't need perhaps that same prescription or product that's assisting you, because the body eventually, they're just aids to get you back to normal. And this is assuming those people that maybe aren't so extreme, right? Because I know I've had my own experience going through that process, which for me, I know I was going through that what's termed as that dark night of the soul. And so much was being spiritually asked of me to keep my heart open, while all these other veils, discordant energies and ways that I was being fell off of my energetic body, but also physically as well through my cells. And it can be very intense and ungrounding. But what supported me was bringing all my resources together. Okay. Bringing all my resources together and using them in a balanced way. Because when we want to seek it so quickly and go, God, I want to get to the end of this, sometimes people throw everything at something, but don't give time to get the response and build up the energetic practice, right? The pillar of light and working with the rays in the beginning, you have to build up your pillar. And that takes commitment and practice every day. It's a commitment and discipline for you to connect with your higher self and the tools that support you to get there. Okay, so for those of you that may be experiencing some anxiety and emotional things, I really invite you to let go of the term altogether in the way that you're relating to it, and don't allow, I guess, pay attention. I want to be mindful how I say this. Pay attention if you're allowing the label of I have fill in the blank, I am this fill in the blank, and how much you might be over identifying with that label or diagnosis. Is it serving you to actually move your life forward into the divine union with yourself and your soul and higher self? Or is it creating a separation within you and within other people in your life? Okay. So, how might you have a new relationship with it and go, wait, how is this experience actually serving me to my divine union inside? Because our shadow and our light helps us return to our divine union and harmony within ourself. So, if I'm experiencing anxiety because my cells are releasing old programming out of my body, and I might be in a resistance to new influx of energy coming in, how might we come to that awareness and go, oh, you know what? Let me just stop and breathe, use my violet flame, use my pillar of light until that moment passes and I'm calm back in my body and talking to my body, going, okay, thank you for releasing. Just start talking to it. Thank you for releasing. I'm going to give you the space to do what you need to do. Okay, so this is another reason why we will use the pillar of light and the violet flame, those two skills, those two tools, and the breath. And you could incorporate nature, go walk in nature while you do any of this in attune to yourself and you're going through an attunement to your higher self, are going to support you as you use those together, and any other things that you may need to use to support where you are at today, right? Because where you're at tomorrow or the next week may be different and will be different. We're constantly changing. So let me see. Yeah, and then you'll become more receptive. So enough of me talking. I hope this has supported you in some way. And we'll perhaps come back to a little deeper, another level of the pillar of light for you. But for now, I want to get to, it's time for the meditation. And I'm just going to preface this one. There's multiple 12D shield building techniques. I just chose this one because I like the way she actually depicts the shield and talks you through the meditation, and just allow her voice. Her voice can be a little robotic. I just didn't have the energy to walk us through one today. But I may record a guided one at a later date. And just be open to the language. You don't have to agree with what's said, but she will be in her the guidance of it. It's only a 5-minute meditation, and the guidance of it, it's more speaking to the power of what you're connecting to, your source, and being in service to the light and to source and God. I invite you, if those words don't resonate with you, just let them fall away and just remember and keep your focus on you're building your pillar of light. Okay, because your soul knows what you're doing. All right, so here we go. The 12th dimensional shield building technique.
My declaration of intention is to serve my source. I commit to serve my highest power fully, completely, and totally. I am God. I am sovereign. I am free. Prepare for meditation. Visualize and feel your connection. Imagine a platinum six-pointed star, the Star of David, in the center of your brain. As you move that six-pointed star, your Merkaba star, down the center of your body, see it passing through each chakra and releasing from in between your legs. Send your six-pointed star to the center of the earth, to the Earth Star. As you connect your star with the Earth Star, feel unconditional love and unity for all. As you connect to the 12th dimensional platinum light, feel that light building momentum through your entire body. As you connect and fill up with the platinum energy, see your six-pointed star returning back to you, and let it stop at a position 12 inches beneath your feet. As you focus on your six-pointed star, it will start to spin. As it spins, it will build momentum and create a platform of platinum silver light. This is your 12th dimensional shield. As the shield strengthens, it will build an upward movement of a pillar of platinum white light. Allow that pillar of light to build to a position about 3.5 feet above your head. Feel and sense your entire body encased in the 12th dimensional platinum white light. Allow every cell and every pore of your body to be radiating in the platinum white light. As you focus again in that position, 12 inches beneath your feet, visualize your six-pointed Merkaba star. Now draw your Merkaba star up through the center column of your body, letting it pass through your chakra column and releasing out of the top of your head. Send your star to a position 3.5 feet above your head. As your Merkaba star again begins to spin, see it create a shield at the top of your 12th dimensional pillar of light. Feel yourself fully encased from top to bottom in your 12th dimensional platinum shield. Now multidimensionally ground your shield by focusing on your six-pointed star at the position 3.5 feet above your head. You now are going to send your Merkaba star out towards the cosmic heart of our universe, towards Andromeda. As you connect to the core of the universe, allow the crystal star to emanate its connection to you. As you feel protected and supported in your 12th dimensional pillar of light, say within your heart, "Thank you, God, and thank you, Ascension guides. I am unity." And so it is.
All right. Come back to the room. So as you can see, that was a quick 5-minute meditation. There are others that are longer, but it can be easily added to your day. Put it on your iPod. Go find a spot to be peaceful in, and begin to build your pillar of light every day. I suggest morning and night, if nothing else. And encourage you, perhaps maybe have a journal and note down your changes that you've noticed in yourself. And there's no wrong or no wrong experience. Write down all of the experiences, even if you're not sure if it's related. Because this process of ascension is complex, it's exciting, and so it shows up in a multitude of ways. It's quite organic, and I know for myself, the more I connect with my divinity, just the more peace and love I have. I feel more sustainable in my life and with people, and I'm more present in the now moment, where I'm like, well, I don't even, whatever happened yesterday is rarely on my thought, you know, and where someone else might still be there. I'm like, I don't know, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh yeah, I have to be reminded, right? And that's when I just realized, wow, I'm just living in the moment. I'm just being more present. And I am going to go ahead and read this mantra for you, for those who wish to incorporate mantra versus a guided meditation or as an option to your practice. Because when you speak it, it gives it power and energy. So when you do this mantra, do it in 3 times, multiples of 3, because that will amplify its energy. So this is called the Tube of Light mantra, and it's connected. It's on the back, which I love. It's on the back of this depiction of your divine chart. Okay. The body of your divine chart. So Tube of Light mantra. And I suggest sitting in a prayer pose. So the lotus pose, and then connecting, doing the mudra. Yeah, I'm already feeling like my nadis and my chakra points here opening up, spine erect, and visualizing, activating that pillar of light. You could even ground beforehand. I like to do a couple ohms, like 3 ohms before, so I can just be in my body and breathe and then begin. And when you do mantras, the more you do them, you want to accelerate the pace at which you do them, because that builds energy too. So the cadence in which you say it. So the more familiar with this particular pillar of light mantra or tube of light mantra, and there are others. This is just one to work with, and you'll be able to hold a quicker cadence faster. And for those of you that have the prayer beads, like that go up to 108, you can count with the beads. Otherwise, just count with your hands. When I do it, and I know I say it 3 times, and I want to do 3 cycles, I go, okay, that was 1 cycle, that was 2 cycles, okay, 3, and then I'm done, right? So you'll figure out your own way, but the prayer beads are helpful if you know how to use them. Okay, tube of light mantra, and then we're done for the evening. Beloved, I am presence bright. Round me seal your tube of light. From ascended master flame called forth now in God's own name. Let it keep my temple free from all discord sent to me. I'm calling forth the violent fire to blaze and transmute all desire, keeping on in freedom's name until I am one with the violet flame. Okay. And this mantra I actually say almost daily. especially when I feel I'm in places of extreme judgment, or I'm feeling my mental mind really go. I come back to this place. I come back to this place, and then I'll say it to myself in my mind if I'm in public. Otherwise, I'll say it out loud. Mm. So use that 3 times. And then as you get used to it, I'm used to saying it, so I was at a faster cadence, and I usually say it faster than I did. But use that, and you could probably find that by Googling it. I imagine it's on the line somewhere. I just have it in my Higher Self book. The Higher Self book by Elizabeth Clare Prophet will also have multiple decrees to work with the pillar of light. If you felt called to get that, and you could just take it with you and practice it. And I have no doubt, because I've experienced working with this, you will feel a difference in your body and your being and energy. Some of you may feel your body start to move, rock back and forth. That's normal. That's just that's your Merkaba field being activated. And we'll talk more about that at a later date. Today, we're just focusing on your pillar. Have a really blessed day. Much love to you. And I hope all of you find this supportive in some way along your journey, as another tool to bring and practice daily, especially as your higher sensory perception is impacting you and others. All right. Have a good night.